Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Horseshoe Show here on Surge Sports TV. I am your host, Jack Rizzo. Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. What a crazy week it has been for the Indianapolis Colts. A lot that has happened in the last week alone. Let alone the last 3 days. Certainly been a lot going on for the Colts, and I'm going to cover it all today on my show. Again, the Horseshoe Show airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And thank you to everyone who has joined me tonight for my show. And let's talk some football. All right, so as I said, it's been a pretty chaotic week for the Colts. Let's start off though with a couple of breaking news stories. The first one, which just happened, we just learned about today. Jim Irsay has confirmed that Anthony Richardson will be having season-ending shoulder surgery at some point in the next week. So AR's rookie season is officially over. Obviously, really disappointing end. That he's not gonna be able to come back this season. In this 17 game season, he only started and finished one game, that being the Week 4 home loss to the Los Angeles Rams. AR ended up making 4 starts in his rookie season. Again, only able to finish one of them. Suffered 3 separate injuries. Suffered a head injury in Week 1, or at least from what it appeared. Then suffered a concussion in Week 2. And then the season-ending shoulder surgery in Week 5. And then he also missed Week 3 with that concussion. So, now, unfortunately, AR's rookie season has come to an end. But in the very brief time he was very promising. Again, the kid's only 21 years old. He is going to be back better than ever next year. Let's hope he can play a full season next year. And one of my Colts friends brought up a really good point that the Colts need to better protect or at least Anthony Richardson needs to better protect himself because, if he's going to play recklessly like this, and he's going to keep suffering all these, shoulder injuries and, his career could be over soon. It's what happened with Andrew Luck. It's what happened with Cam Newton. So, to quote what the person on Twitter said, he needs to run more like Lamar and not like Cam. Because, Lamar's a very smart runner. So, we certainly have to see more of that. So, we'll have to see. But yeah, hopefully AR learns how to protect himself so he can have a long career because, again, he is the future of the Indianapolis Colts, and the team, the fans, the city, everyone is counting on AR to be the guy for the Indianapolis Colts hopefully by 2024. Sorry, guys, just going to do something here real quick. Okay. And the other breaking news story is that star defensive tackle Grover Stewart, another big player on this team, one of the best one of the more underrated defensive players in the league, has been suspended 6 games by the NFL for violating the league's substance abuse policy, the performance enhancing drug policy. So he is out. He is suspended without pay for the next 6 games. Taking the suspension will carry through the Week 13 game against the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. So he is eligible to reinstate to the active roster on December 4th. So can't wait for Grover to come back, but it's a big loss for this defense. Although the defensive line depth is phenomenal. There's a lot of good defensive line depth with Dio Dangbo, Tyquan Lewis, Taven Bryan. There's Jacob Martin. There's a lot of good depth on this defensive line. So hopefully the Colts are able to fill it, though. But not having Grove on the field is certainly going to hurt. One of the best run stuffers in the league right now, and one of the most underrated players in the league, period. So it's very kind of the Colts with injuries and now the suspension. Obviously you have the gambling stuff before the year. So it's certainly been a rocky year for the Colts. But I think you just got to give more credit to Shane Steichen, though, for dealing with all this adversity. Go back to the JT stuff, all the concussions and everything. And this team is still 3-3 and in the AFC playoff hunt. I think you have to give massive credit to Coach Steichen. All right, now let's talk about the Colts' actual on-field performance in Week 6. They fell to the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, 37-20. The 9th straight loss for the Colts on the road against the Jags, 8th straight at TIAA Bank Field. The other one came in a London game in 2016. So the streak continues. It's been now over 3,000 days since the Colts last picked up a win in Duval County. Last time was September 21st, 2014, which ended up being Blake Bortles' first career appearance in the NFL. And Chad Henne was starting for the Jags. So it's been a very, very long time since the Colts have won. I think there was only 3 or 4 quarterbacks who are currently starting in the NFL right now that were even starting back then. Just absolutely mind-blowing. Now, in terms of this actual game, again, the final score 37-20. It was 27-6. So it was, I believe, it was 31-6 at some point. So at least the Colts made a little bit of a comeback. But again, the Jags pretty much controlled this though from the start. Colts, the only lead the Colts had was at the very beginning of the game when they got a field goal on their opening drive. After that, though, it was all Jacksonville. They outscored them 37-17 the rest of the way en route to a 17-point win as they sweep the Colts this year. First time the Jags have swept the Colts since 2017. So the Colts are now 3-3 on the season, tied for second in the AFC South with the Houston Texans. So certainly a blown opportunity for the Colts to claim sole possession of first place. But let's talk about why the Colts lost, because I only talked about the score, but we need to know why they lost. And I think a lot of the blame falls on two people, and specifically, let's start off with Coach Shane Steichen, who I thought had one of his worst performances of the season. Again, he's a rookie coach. You're going to have some pretty poor performances. Just a little disappointed in what Shane Steichen's play calling was. Obviously, with that AR, we had Gardner Minshew starting again. And as much as I love Gardner, he is a game manager, should not be asked to carry an offense. And for some reason, Coach Steichen, who has preached that they're going to run the ball to win and throw to score points and run to win. Well, they certainly did not run to win on Sunday. Certainly seems like they focused a lot more on the passing game. Did not really get a lot of runs. JT and Zach Moss only combined to have 15 carries on the day. A lot of passing, some questionable calls on first and second down. Not really a fan of what Shane Steichen did. I do like that the team fought until the end. I will give a lot of credit to him for that. But certainly disappointed in the game plan that he brought up, especially having already played Jacksonville in week 1. No, it's a different quarterback, but still, I thought they'd have a better game plan. And even if they lost, I thought they'd at least stay in this game a little more. So certainly disappointed. But again, he's a rookie coach. He's going to make mistakes, but he's only going to improve from here. So can't wait to see how Shane Steichen improves the rest of the season. All right, so Gardner Minshew. Again, Gardner's played great this year. He's won all 3 of his games. Now, only started 1, but the other 2 he played the majority of the snaps in and won both of those as well. But again, I know Gardner's stats look really good, but again, he was used more as a game manager. They relied on the rushing game, especially in weeks 3 and 5. They relied very heavily on Zach Moss to carry them, and it got them 2 wins. So I think they got to do that a little more. But again, short passes, stuff like that helped the Colts win. Sunday, they went a little bit away from that, took some more deep shots, led to several interceptions. Gardner turned the ball over 4 times. Certainly his worst performance of the year. And most of the mistakes that he made were his own fault. He threw 3 interceptions, all of them pretty bad. 2 of them just throws up the seam that just got intercepted, way overthrown to their intended receiver. One of them came after both of them came after really big plays on offense, 2 big third down conversions. So it just did not go the Colts' way on Sunday. And, Minshew had not turned the ball over yet until last Sunday, and obviously that changed with the 4 turnovers. I mean, it's almost like he was playing for Jacksonville because he just gave them some really easy takeaways. It was really a disappointing performance from him. But again, it's going to be Gardner the rest of the season, so he's got to bounce back. If the Colts want to stay in playoff contention, Gardner can't turn the ball over. He's just got to be he's got to be a solid game manager, rely on the rush game, not turn the ball over, and that is the special sauce for the Indianapolis Colts. So hopefully we will see more of hopefully Gardner can improve. Again, it's only 1 bad performance, but it certainly was a concerning one. But I have confidence that Gardner can bounce back. Now, in terms of the running back play, we didn't really get to see a lot. I mean, JT and Zach Moss combined only had 15 carries for 40 yards. That's less than 3 yards a carry. Although, to be honest, I mean, JT and Zach Moss each should have 15 carries. The run game is going to have to be the focal point of this offense without AR. They cannot ask Minshew to be like a 300-yard passer every single game like they did last week. So, got to rely more on the pass game. I mean, it gave me bad Frank Reich vibes watching that game. I'm not even lying. But, with the way Zach Moss played in weeks 3 and weeks 5, that's why the Colts won both those games. So, then you just got to give him the ball more, let him do his thing. And JT, we saw on the one play that JT made, the catch that he got and got upfield, we saw some of the speed that he has. He's still got a lot left in the tank. The running backs did very well catching the ball. They had 11 catches for 84 yards. JT had 1 big one on 3rd and 5, which got them all the way down inside the 30. And, of course, 2 plays later, intercepted. One of the 2 big plays I told you about before that ended up being turned over very shortly after. So again, running backs were underwhelming, but again, you can't really blame them because they just didn't really get much of an opportunity to perform. In terms of the skill position players, the receivers certainly had maybe their best game of the season. Michael Pittman is showing why he should be paid by the Colts and be their number one receiver going forward. 10 catches for 109 yards, a couple big ones downfield, a big 40-yarder downfield. Really proud of the way MPJ played on Sunday. Again, he is certainly living up to his status as a number one receiver, and he certainly should get paid for it very, very soon. Maybe during the season it'll get extended. But yeah, we got to keep MPJ though. He is one of the most indispensable players on this offense. Alec Pierce had 3 catches for 25 yards. So again, AP's been pretty quiet this year, a little disappointing. I will say though, what a one-handed catch he made on a 3rd and 2 over the middle in the third quarter. Helped the Colts stay in it for now, and then of course another time I told you about intercepted like the very next play. So those were the JT and Pierce plays. Those two were the two big plays where ended up being turned over very soon after. And then Josh Downs' first NFL touchdown on Sunday on a 4th and goal. Nice little zig route. He's got great speed, so it was an easy touchdown. So happy to see JD get his first NFL touchdown, and he and AR are going to be a fun duo to watch for many, many years to come. A very quiet day for the tight ends. No catches for Drew Ogletree nor Will Mallory. Kylan Granson had 3 catches for 67 yards, a couple big ones at the end of the game. Unfortunately, though, he is now in the concussion protocol, so we'll see if he plays this Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. But I like AJ a lot. I think he's had some ups and downs this season, but the ups he's been by far our best tight end. So really happy with the way that guy is playing right now. In terms of the offensive line, they did allow 3 sacks. Not much in the run game. I don't think they can take too much blame though, because the strip sack they had on Gardner Minshew, that was more so Gardner's fault to me. He just held the ball for way, way too long, and then Josh Allen came, knocked the ball out. So, but yeah, the line certainly was not as good as it was the last few weeks. Braden Smith did not play because of a couple of different injuries that he had. So I think that certainly affected the Colts in the way they played, and they certainly are going to want to have Braden Smith back this week playing against Myles Garrett and that Browns elite front 7. So hopefully he is back next week, but we will just have to see on that. And again, the O-line, it almost reminded me of the week 1 performance against Jacksonville, because again, they had problems protecting him in the pocket and other stuff like that. So certainly not the best performance from them, but at the end of the day, they're going to improve. Every team has some rough performances, and for the Colts, let's just hope it's this week. Special team. Sorry, I almost skipped over the defense. The defense. I know they allowed 37 points. I know they allowed 37 points. That wasn't the whole story though. This team, I think like 21 of those points came off of turnovers. The Jags had some very short fields that they were set up with. I mean, they only had 233 yards of total offense. The Colts outgained them by more than 100 yards. But all the turnovers were what cost them. The Jags only turned it over once, and it was on an interception by Trevor Lawrence to Juju Brents, his first career NFL interception. And the defense, they allowed the Jags to just go 4-14 on 3rd down. Secondary did have a rough game, especially, Juju Brents and some other guys. So certainly a rough game from them. The secondary is really costing the Colts so far. The last 3 weeks, they've gotten absolutely destroyed. So certainly not a good look for the Indianapolis Colts. And again, this was one of the problems I talked about Chris Ballard not addressing the secondary, coming back to bite them, and it certainly has, because if the secondary would have been addressed, the Colts could be 4-2, maybe even 5-1. I mean, I really don't know, but the secondary certainly has to get better from here on out. In terms of special teams, Matt Gay, 2-2 on field goals, including a 56-yarder, his longest of the season. I believe his 5th 50-yard field goal of the season, because again, he had 4 in week 3, and then he's got another one this week, 2 of 2 on extra points. So far this season, he has only missed 1 kick. That was a field goal against the Rams down 20-0. So, I mean, really, it really didn't matter at that point. And the Colts came back anyways to force overtime. So, but yeah, Matt, what a signing he has been, worth every penny that the Colts signed him. I'm really happy we have a stable kicker now. Let's just hope the rest of the team can stabilize. All right, now let's talk about the Colts Week 7 matchup. They are at home taking on the Cleveland Browns. They're going to wear their Indiana Knights jerseys. I'll touch on this for a little bit. The jerseys overall, I think they're pretty cool. I think it's different. The Colts have some like the plainest jerseys in the NFL to me, just like plain blue with white pants. I mean, they almost look like high school jerseys to me. And the away jerseys also look like high school jerseys to me. So it's cool they're doing something different. A really nice blue color with cool like stripes on their pants. I know it's Indiana nights, but this is a 1 o'clock game, and the roof is probably going to be open because, it's going to be a beautiful day in Indianapolis. So interesting that they're deciding to do it this week. But to be fair, the Colts do not have any primetime games this year. So it makes sense in that regard. But really, really excited to see what they wear, though. I would have loved to see AR in that uniform, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to. But seeing like JT, Buck, Pittman, some of our other players, Zaire Franklin, it should be good enough. And the black helmets. The black helmets are the best part of it. They look sick in practice today, so I'm really excited to see them wear that. And they are taking on the Cleveland Browns, who, of course, just shocked the San Francisco 49ers and handed them their first loss of the season with a 19-17 win at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Yes, that is the name of the stadium in Week 6. Now, this game should be interesting. The Browns are a 2.5-point favorite. Two really good defenses going at it. I know the Colts secondary is good, but they have one of the best front sevens in the league. Cleveland as well. Myles Garrett on their side for the pass rush. Zaire Franklin being that playmaker in the middle for the Colts. I think there's going to be a lot of sacks happening on Sunday, especially if Deshaun Watson doesn't play, with Gardner not being as mobile as AR. I think the run games are going to have a bit of a tough time going, so this game could very well come down to who wins it through the air. So Gardner's going to have to make less mistakes this week. And whoever plays for the Browns, whether it's Watson, whether it's DTR or PJ Walker or whoever, they're also going to have to protect. They are also going to have to protect the football. I will say though, I know the Browns are by far they look like the better team on paper, but I think the Colts match up well with Cleveland though. Especially if Braden Smith plays, I think the line can hold up against this Cleveland front seven. I think Zach Moss can have another good game. Maybe JT breaks out in this one. Special teams could play a factor in this as well. I'm not really sure. Two really good kickers against each other, Dustin Hopkins and Matt Gay. Both of them have won AFC Special Teams Player of the Week at some point this season. Matt Gay in Week 3, Dustin Hopkins last week. Should be a really good game. Going to be more of a defensive affair. But I am going to take the Cleveland I'm sorry. Give me the Indianapolis Colts. I haven't picked the Colts. I've only picked them one other time this year. Give me them though to upset the Browns at home, 18-15, a really low defensive score. But I think the Colts are going to protect the football better. And I'm going to say Matt Gay hits a game-winning field goal as time expires. For the second time this year, he hits a game-winning field goal. And the Colts go to 4-3 on the season to take on the Saints in Week 8. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today on the 12th Horseshoe Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure to catch Eli and I for our preview of Week 7 on the 12th Horseshoe Podcast on Friday. Eli on the call for the St. Mary game against New Milford on Saturday at 2 p.m. at New Milford. It is senior night for St. Mary's. Every Tuesday for a recap of this Tuesday for Week 7 recap. Eli with Sports Mono on Saturday. Get ready to see some more stuff too for the St. Mary Gills, some more news anchoring and stuff like that. A lot of content coming your way, both the NFL and for St. Mary sports. So thank you everyone for watching. Jack Rizzo signing off here. And thank you so much everyone for watching, and I will see you on Friday with the preview of Week 7. Goodbye.